day. This is Teacher Jeans. Welcome to our web class for the Organization and Management subject. So we will be discussing the part 1 of your week 3 topic. At the end of this lesson, you are expected to be able to analyze the various forces or elements influencing local and international business environment using PEST and SWOT strategies. So before we proceed to our proper discussion for this week 3 topic, let us define first the terminologies that we will be meeting along with the discussion. So first, environmental scanning. So this is seeking for and sorting through data about the environment. So it is a process of gathering information about events and the relationships within an organization's internal and external environment. So the basic purpose of environmental scanning is to help management determine the future direction of the organization. Then the external business environment, so it refers to the factors or elements outside the organization which may affect either positively or negatively the performance of the organization. And of course, internal business environment, so it refers to the factors or elements within the organization which may affect either positively or negatively the performance of the organization. We will also be meeting the term microenvironment and macroenvironment. So when we say microenvironment, it includes those players whose decisions and actions have a direct impact on the company, while macro, it is the condition that exists in the economy as a whole rather than in a particular sector or region. So, all living creatures, including us, human beings, live within an environment, right? So apart from the natural environment of humans include family, friends, peers, and neighbors. So it also includes man-made structures such as buildings, right? Furniture, roads, and other physical infrastructure. So the individuals do not live in a vacuum. They continuously interact with their environment to live their lives. So just like us, human beings, business also does not function in an isolated vacuum. So businesses function within the environment and have to negotiate their way through it. The extent to which the business thrives depends on the manner in which it interacts, right? It interacts with its environment. So the business must continuously monitor and adapt to an environment if it is to survive and prosper. So disturbances in the environment may spell extreme threats or open up new opportunities for the firm. So a successful business has to identify, appraise, and respond to the various opportunities and threats in its environment. So the term business environment has two types. We have external environment and internal environment. Again, the various components of business environment, we have external environment and the internal. So we will discuss first the external environment. So it consists of those factors that affect a business enterprise from outside, from the word external. So it includes shareholders, competitors, customers, society, government laws and regulations, policies, and the technology. So it is composed of two types. We have the microenvironment and macroenvironment. So when we say microenvironment, this includes those players whose decisions and actions have a direct impact on the company. So production and selling of commodities are the two important aspects of modern business. Accordingly, the microenvironment of business can be divided into various constituents, such as suppliers of inputs. So, an important factor in the external and microenvironment of a firm is the supplier of inputs such as raw materials and, of course, its components. So, normally, most firms do not depend on a single supplier of inputs. So to reduce risk and uncertainty, business firms prefer to keep multiple suppliers of inputs. So next, we have customers. So the people who buy and use a firm's products and services are an important part of external microenvironment. Since sales of a product or service is critical for a firm's survival and growth, it is necessary to keep the customers satisfied. So a concern for customer satisfaction is very essential for the success of a business firm. So besides, a business firm has to compete with rival firms to attract customers and thereby increase the demand and market for its product. Next, we have the marketing intermediaries. So in the firm's external microenvironment, these marketing intermediaries play an essential role of selling and distributing its product to the final customer. So marketing provides an important link between a business firms and its ultimate customers. Next, different firms in an industry compete for sale of their products. So this competition may be based on pricing of their products and non-price competition through competitive advertising, such as sponsoring some events to promote the sale of different varieties and models of their products. So because of liberalization and globalization of the Indian economy since the adoption of economic reforms, there has been a significant increase in the competitive environment of business firms, even here in the Philippines. So now, Indian firms must compete not only with each other but also with foreign firms whose products can be imported. So in America, American firms face a lot of competition from the Japanese firms producing electronic goods and automobiles. So here in the Philippines, so our biggest competitor are from China, right? Chinese companies. And we also have public. So finally, this is an important force in the external environment. So the environmentalist, media groups, women's associations, consumer protection groups, the local groups, the citizens association are some important examples of publics which have an important bearing on the business decisions of the firm. So the existence of the various types of publics really influences the working of business firms and compels them to be socially responsible. So apart from microenvironment, business firms face large external environment forces. So an important fact about external macro environment is that they are uncontrollable by the management. So it is uncontrollable by the company itself. Because of the uncontrollable nature of the micro forces, a firm must adjust or adapt it to those external factors. And these factors are economic environment, political environment, technological environment, global or international environment, socio-cultural environment, demographic environment, natural and ecological environment. So for economic environment, it includes all those forces which have an economic impact on the business. So accordingly, the total economic environment consists of agriculture, industrial production, the infrastructure, and the planning. Basic economic philosophy, stages of economic development, those trade cycles. What else? We have the national income, the per capita income, savings, money supplies, price level, and of course, the population. And political legal environment. So business firms are closely related to the government, right? So the political legal environment includes the activities of three political institutions. So namely, we have the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary, which usually play a useful role in shaping, directing, developing, and controlling business activities. So the company itself has no control on this. And we have technological environment. So, the technological environment is exercising considerable influence on business. So, it implies systematic application of scientific or other organized knowledge to practical tasks or activities. So, business makes it impossible for technology to reach the people in proper format. And we have global or international environment. So it plays an important role in shaping business activity. So with the liberalization and globalization of the economy, business environment of an economy has become totally different, wherein it has to bear all shocks and benefits arising out of global environment. Next, we have the socio-cultural environment. So this influences the business environment indirectly. Why? So this includes, because it includes the people's attitude to work and wealth, the ethical issues, role of family, we have marriage, religion, and education, and also social responsiveness of the business. And of course, demographic environment. So it includes the size and growth of population, life expectancy of the people, rural-urban distribution of population, the technological skills, and educational levels of labor force. So all these demographic features have an important bearing on the functioning of the business firms. And of course, natural environment. So this influences business in diverse ways. So business in modern times is really dedicated by nature. No, it's not in the just in the natural environment, but of course in other aspects also. So the natural environment is the ultimate source of many inputs such as raw materials and energy, which firms use in their productive activities. So the natural environment includes geographical and ecological factors, so such as minerals and oil reserves, so water and forest resources. You have weather and climatic conditions. These are all highly significant for various business activities. And of course, the ecological environment. So due to the efforts of our environmentalists and international organizations such as the World Bank, the people have now become conscious of the adverse effects of depletion of accessible natural resources and pollution of environment by business activities. So accordingly, laws have been passed for conservation of natural resources and prevention of environment pollution. So these laws have imposed additional responsibilities and costs of the business firms. So the next component of the business environment is we have the internal environment. Since we're done with the external, so we will just have an overview of this, and we will discuss this on your part 2. Okay, so we will be having another discussion for this, including the SWOT and Pastel Analysis. So for this internal environment, we will discuss about the value system. Here, the value system, the mission and objectives, the organizational structure, the corporate culture, quality of human resources. So this is very interesting. The labor unions, and the physical resources and technological capabilities. So including in the internal environment that we will be discussing for the next video, also included in the topic is a Pastel Analysis and the SWOT Analysis, which stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So thank you so much. We're done with our part 1. So see you in our part 2 discussion of your week 3 topic.
Hi, good day. Welcome to our web class. Again, this is Teacher Jeans. We will continue for your part 2 on your chapter 3 for the organization and management class. Again, for your learning outcomes, you have to analyze various forces or elements influencing local and international business environment using BEST and SWOT strategies. So this definition of terms, had already been discussed by our part 1 discussion. As a review, business environment has two types. We have external environment and internal environment. For external environment, you have microenvironment, then macro environment. So for now, we will be focusing on the business environment in the internal. Okay, so the factors in the internal environment of business are to a certain extent controllable because the firm can change or modify these factors to what? To improve its efficiency. So however, the firm or the business or the company may not be able to change all the factors. So the various internal factors are, we have first the value system. So the value system of an organization means the ethical beliefs that guide the organization in achieving its missions and objectives. So it is a widely acknowledged fact that the extent to which the value system is shared by all in the organization is an important factor contributing to its success. So next we have mission and objective. So of course, the business domain of the company, the direction of the development, the business philosophy, the business policy, and etc. No, are guided by the mission and objectives of the company. So the objective of all firms is assumed to be maximization of profit, right? So mission is defined, this one, the mission is defined as the overall purpose or reason for its existence, which guides and influences its business decision and economic activities. Next, we have the organization structure. So the organizational structure, the composition of the board of directors, the professionalism of management, and others are very important factors influencing business decisions. So the nature of the organizational structure has an important influence over the decision-making process in an organization. So the efficient working of the business organization, it requires the organizational structure that should be conducive for quick decision making. Okay, so next we have corporate culture. Okay, so this is an important factor for determining the internal environment, okay, of any company. So in a closed and threatening type of corporate culture, the business decisions are taken by top level managers, while the middle level and the lower level managers have no say, okay, in the business decision making. So this leads to lack of trust and confidence among the subordinate officials of the company, and secrecy pervades throughout the organization, right? Next, we have quality of human resources. So the quality of employees, that is of human resources, of course, in a firm is an important factor of internal environment of a company. So as you have heard or as you have learned, the characteristics of the human resources like skill, quality, capability, attitude, and commitment of its employees could contribute to the strength and weaknesses of an organization. So another important factor is the labor union. So this is very important because this is a pro-employee, right? So labor unions, this collectively bargains with the managers for better wages and better working conditions of the different categories of the workers. So for the smooth working of a business firm, good relations between management and labor unions is required. Remember that, okay? Then the last one, we have physical resources and technological capabilities. So physical resources such as plant and equipment and technological capabilities of a firm Determine its competitive strength, which is an important factor for determining its efficiency and, of course, the unit cost of the production. And here, the research and development capabilities of a company determine its ability to introduce what? Introduce innovations, which enhances productivity of workers, okay? So we have different internal analysis like SWOT analysis, that stands for strength, W for weaknesses, O for opportunities, and T, of course, for threats. We also have Pastel analysis. P stands for political, E for economic, S for social, T for technological, E for environmental, and of course L for legal. So you keep on hearing SWOT analysis. So what is a SWOT analysis? So a SWOT analysis is a technique used to determine and define your strengths, your weaknesses of the company, your opportunities, and threats, okay? So this one, the SWOT analysis, can be applied to an entire company or organization or individual projects within a single department. So most commonly, SWOT analysis are used at the organizational level to determine how closely a business is aligned with its growth trajectories and success benchmarks, but they can also be used to ascertain how well a particular project, such as online advertising campaign, is performing according to initial projections. To illustrate, so the strengths of your company are the things your company does well. And these are also the qualities that separate you from your competitors. And also the internal resources such as skilled and knowledgeable staff. So those are your strengths, and also the tangible assets such as intellectual property, the capital property, and technology. So those things can be considered as strengths in your company. Okay. Next, we have weaknesses. So what are those weaknesses that could be existed in your company? So you have the things that your company lacks, okay? The things your competitors do better than you. And those resource limitation, and of course an unclear unique selling proposition. So you have to determine the strengths of your company, your weaknesses, and also the opportunities. So these are underserved markets for specific products. And you also have few competitors in your area. So for example, you have a business and you only have few competitors. So that's an opportunity to expand your business or to have a productive business, and also emerging need for your products or services, right? And also those, if you have a press or media coverage of your company, so it's an opportunity. The last one, we have threats, okay? So the threats of your business might be the emerging competitors, of course. They are your greatest threats. In the changing regulatory environment, we have negative press or media coverage, of course, and changing customer attitudes toward your company. Okay, so this is very important analysis in your company. Another analysis that you can use in your internal environment, we have Foster's 5 forces. So this analysis is a framework that helps analyzing the level of competition within a certain industry. So it is especially useful when starting a new business or when entering a new industry sector. So according to this framework, the competitiveness does not only come from competitors. Rather, the state of competition in an industry depends on the 5 basic forces. So what are these 5 basic forces. So let's see on the next slide. So the 5 forces we have here, threats of new entrants. So this composed of barriers to entry, you have the economies of scale, your brand loyalty, the capital requirements, the cumulative experience, the government policies, of course, access to distribution channels, and the switching cost. Okay, the next one, the next force we have bargaining power of buyers. Okay, so it really matters, no, the number of customers, the size of each customer order, the differences between competitors, the price sensitivity, the buyer's ability to substitute, the buyer's information availability, and the switching cost. So if you have the bargaining power of buyers, we also have bargaining power of suppliers. So um, it consists of the number and size of suppliers, the uniqueness of each supplier's product, and the focal company's ability to substitute. Another threat, we have threat of substitute product. Okay, so these are the number of substitute products available, so the buyer propensity to substitute, the relative price performance of substitute, and the perceived level of product differentiation, and also switching cost. Okay, switching cost is also existing in this one. And of course, the very known, okay, threats, we have the rivalry among existing competitors. So there are a number of competitors, the diversity of competitors, the industry concentration, the industry growth, the quality differences, the brand loyalty, the barriers to exit, and switching cost. Okay, so this one, the Pastel Analysis, or Pastel Analysis, this is formerly known as Pest Analysis. So this is a framework or tool to analyze and monitor the macro environmental factors that may have a profound impact on an organization's performance. So this tool is especially useful when, again, no, starting a new business or entering into a foreign market. So it is often used in the collaboration with other analytical business tools such as the SWOT analysis and the Foster's 5 forces. So the PESTEL is an acronym, again, no, that stands for the political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal factors. So as mentioned, no, Pastel analysis is very important. And this should be connected with the Foster 5 forces in the SWOT analysis to arrive at best analysis on your company, okay? And also Pastel analysis helps the business spot opportunities and the red flags on significant threats. So it guides the direction of change within the business environment and contributes to avoid starting projects that are likely to fail for reasons beyond the control of the business firm. So it can also help loosen up unconscious assumptions when, for instance, the firm plans to enter a new country, so venture into a market or region, because it helps to see the big picture of the environment. So when you say as P stands for political, so it is how the government intervenes in the economy. So the laws, the global issues, the legislation, the regulations, which may have a direct effect of the business. Okay, so um, these are the terms highlighted for the political. You have the government policy, the political stability, of course, corruption. It can really affect, no, our business. We have foreign trade policy, tax policy, labor law, and trade restrictions. So next, we have the economic. So for this one, the taxes, the interest rates, the inflation, the stock markets, and consumer confidence have to be taken into account. Okay, so this composed of the unemployment rates, okay, disposable income, The next one, we have social. Okay, social. These changes in lifestyle and buying trends, the media, the major events, ethics, advertising, and publicity factors. So it really matters, like population growth rate, the age distribution, your career attitudes, your safety emphasis, the health consciousness, lifestyle attitudes, and cultural barriers. We also have T for technological. So here, the innovations, the level of innovations, the technology incentives, of course, the automation, the R&D activity, you have technological change, you have technological awareness, no? So also included here, the manufacturing, the licensing, okay, the global communications. Of course, the environmental, so it also affects in the decision making of our business. So we have with weather, the climate, the environmental policies, the climate change, pressures from NGOs, of course, and the legal. Okay, there are discrimination laws, there are antitrust laws, employment laws, consumer protection laws, copyright and patent laws, and health and safety laws. So this really have a big impact in the decision-making process of our company. So we also have here the components of the environmental scanning. So here we have the developing a competitive mindset. So this is very important. So this is by seeking and sorting through data about environment. So you may be able to understand and predict the various changes and opportunities and threats that may be affect the organizations in the future. And also considering future business scenarios. So by realistic consideration of both worst case scenario or the unfavorable future conditions, as well as the middle ground possible conditions. So you will have an idea or what to do in the future. So another one, we have business prediction, also known as business forecasting. So this is a method of predicting how variables in the environment will alter the future of the business. So it could be used in making decisions regarding offshoring, branching out locally, and expanding or downsizing the company. However, the accuracy of such business predictions cannot always be assured. Okay, from the word forecast, so you only forecast. Okay, and the last one, we have benchmarking. So it is the process of measuring or comparing one's own products, services, and practices with those of the recognized industry leaders in order to identify areas for improvement. So this is very important, no, in our business also. Once again, thank you so much. Keep safe and see you in our next web class.